Greetings, fellow Wendigo. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Biotech, The First Wendigo, Episode 44, Flame Wave Survival. Before I start, I wanted to let you know that there has been one little change made to the series since last stream, and that is this, if you look at the bottom right, adding individual sound volume. It's a mod that Cathanon made that allows you to control the individual sound effects of RimWorld, and this allows me to mute the painting noises that people really don't like and stuff like that. Instead of muting it, I just have it like dramatically decreased in volume, but if you want that mod, you can find it on the workshop. So thank you so much, Cathanon, for doing that, because that was, it will be a godsend to be able to like custom tune certain sound effects that are abhorrent. All right. And for the recap, we are currently hosting Mastica. Mastica is here for 6 more days, and we are going to get raided by the Clade of Theons, or whatever you want to call it. I have to keep her happy, and she's not doing anything. She also doesn't want to eat our food, and she fusses. It's been a joy. We've also been growing Double D. Unfortunately for me, Double D looks to be a genetic dead end, or at least a colonist dead end. I'll be having you guys vote on the outcome of Double D soon. It is interesting that she is 0,17, because we grew her so fast that she hasn't even had one chronological birthday, but she's almost of age where she'll pop out of the vat. And then Soups. Soups is a fresh start, so we don't know how Soups is going to turn out, but we'll see. Yeah, so that's that. Let's get started. I guess one more thing. We had just finished up completely and utterly obliterating the Mega Spiders and Scythers in a 2-for-1 third-partied OK Corral type situation. It was great. Made them fight one another. I made a joke on YouTube in one of my comments that that last Mega Spider, if you remember, basically I pitted them against one another, and then when there was one Mega Spider left and a bunch of Scythers, I ran down here and shot the rest of the Scythers with that one Mega Spider, holding them at bay. I wogged that spider and made it Hodor for me. Absolutely. And we are currently trying to build a farm. That was one of the things I was tasked with. So we had our tunneler come down here and get us a lovely source of steel that now my lifter mechs can return to hauling, because I had removed it for their safety, or rather so that I didn't have to repair their stupid broken metal bodies, if I'm truly role-playing the Wendy. But yeah, let's go back to hauling zones and make sure that the lifter bots are lifting that steel, because we are completely out of steel. And thank you so very much, guys, for the hype train. Fabi and Akunda, Furious, Marauder, Glitch, Rise It. Thank you so very much, and welcome. Welcome. We're intentionally leaving these hives up so that we can force some additional bugs to be unwilling defenders of our tunnel. And then I need to continue constructing it so that it's flammable and will wreck incoming enemies. Wendy is just recently recovered from death rest, so she is super hyper speed, and I'm hoping to get her to be able to do a lot of work. Why is that off? I don't know. A lot of productivity before next rest. All right. One of the worries that we were having, though, is we are really low on cannibal food. So I might... we were contemplating whether we try to poke into the Ancient Dangers. So there's 2 of them. Maybe I'll mark them for posterity or to remember that they're here. This is an A. Yeah, A for ancient danger. My my pixel art is second to nobody. That's right. Welcome to Rad Barely Draws on Twitch. So those are the two ancient dangers that we've got. I don't know why I removed that. That was like a hollow spot. That could be a source of meat for us if we really get desperate. But the Clad of Thons, which is the raids that are supposed to show up to attack Mastica, haven't shown up yet, as far as I know. I don't think any of the raids that has come... Yeah, as you can see, we've had a short piece, Pax, whatever short is in Latin. So they're due, and a little worried about that because it's a pretty decent amount of raiders in a very short period of time. So I'm going to be micromanaging Wendy to make sure that Wendy is trying to prepare this space as quickly as possible. Rosie, 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 what are you doing down there? Oh, you're cleaning a door. Okay. No, Wendy's up. Perfect. So everybody else can actually maybe be unrestricted? I'm a little worried about that because I don't want them going wandering near the edge of the map and then have the impid raids come raiding. Because I would say of the enemy types, the impids probably pose the greatest threat to Wendy. Being deathless as a vampire, she is probably not going to die very... There's not a high chance of her dying from, like, gunshots, because it's very rare that gunshots take your head off, because that would be the only way that she would die to a gunshot. But I can totally see a situation where she gets set on fire by some, like, impid swarm that are breathing fire like crazy, and then if she's on fire, she's downed, and if she's downed, she could burn to death. So that is a real threat. So if there was impids, specifically, I would say impid sappers and breachers are going to be the most dangerous, because if they're not sappers and breachers, impids are particularly weak to mechs, because you can't set mechs on fire. They don't care, right? So their breath attack means nothing to a mech. So I wouldn't even need to really prime the kill maze, or the fire maze, because the mechs would... the impids would breathe fire on the mechs and set the maze on fire themselves and get themselves killed without me having to do anything. Yeah, so that would be my greatest worry in this instance. And Otto, thank you for the gifted subs, and Highland Timber for the bits. I think my my alerts are not sounding off. Because, you know, why would they? Just make my life a little bit more complicated. So this is now an enclosed room, as you can see. I'm intentionally leaving this space open and unwalled. Previously, I was going to wall it up here so that it's a smaller room, but I'd rather have these hives be able to spawn enemies. And I have about 8 hours until this hive reproduces, so I need to... Oh, Double D is out. I need to finish the build and then restrict the area. Kill the Mega Spider? I don't even really need to. It's not getting back up, I don't think. And if it did, yeah, it's gonna bleed out before it gets back up. Double D. That is a crazy haircut. We're gonna have to decide what to do with you, I think. So what do we do with Double D? So here's the issue. Double D has good genes, right? Strong melee and robust. Maybe not the best genes. I would say Soups probably takes that trophy of having amazing genes. And then, of course, we have all these embryos over here that are also genetically powerful. But Double D has good genes, but is a chemically fascinated pyromaniac. And I'm going to be polling you guys for what to do with her. So there's a few different choices here. We could leave as a colonist, enslave, gene, harvest, prison, or organ harvest. Or, yeah, or sell as a slave. Sell for, money or honor, one way or another. The organ harvesting and the selling as a slave can coincide as long as we don't organ harvest to death. So, there it is. You guys decide. For the meantime, I don't know what to do with you. I kind of wish I had cryptosleep caskets. So the genes, if you're wondering again, are robust and strong melee damage. Those would be the positive ones that we're looking for. But they're also represented in mass for robust and curiosity as well. So they're not unique. They're not unique to Double D. It would be possible to potentially gene rip them and then sell the copies or organ harvest, right? Sort of the question is, stay as a full colonist, become a slave, or basically get harvested for parts. Those are the three main big ones. So for now, I'm going to let Double D stay as a colonist, because that's indecision is still a decision. But you guys are going to decide ultimately the fate of Double D. And the thing is, I think probably a lot of the colonists that we end up getting, because they grow in a vat and are not taught, and this is by design and I will not be changing that, but they're very likely to have terrible traits as a result, because it's just one big gamble. Whereas if you actually do the teaching and the learning and all that jazz, you get a lot more options, and then you can influence how they turn out. Usually for the better. All right. Back to the micromanagement, and the thing I'm going to try to do is to have Wendy finish this, and then to design a way so that the haulers can still haul that steel, but route around this tunnel, i.e. forbid the doors, so that they don't take it this way, because it will not be safe. So Wendy, I'm going to have to caravan you. Are Dead Calm Pyromaniacs still able to set fires? I believe so. Dead Calm, I guess I could show you Dead Calm, but if you read the gene, you can see that they don't start social fights or have aggressive mental breaks, but starting fire isn't an aggressive mental break. Aggressive mental breaks would be sadistic slaughter of prisoners, or trying to murder another colonist, or trying to slaughter an animal. Those are the aggressive mental breaks. So they still have mental breaks, but just not the murderous kind. All right, I am going to start forbidding the doors behind me so that the haulers take an alternative path. And I'm just going to want to watch to make sure that the haulers continue... Oh, yes, well, these doors must be forbidden too. So that the haulers cannot go in here. So one way to do that is to draft Wendy and see no path. So that's perfect. There's still a risk of someone on a mental break wandering in there, because I didn't wall it up, but I don't intend to wall it up. Right. Let's also change it so that behind the walls does not include here either, because it looks like Rosie was trying to get over there for some reason. There we go. Pyrophobia suppresses the pyromaniac trait according to the wiki. That's good to know. I didn't know that. I don't know if that would make Double D better, though, to be afraid of fire, because being afraid of fire means that one of the only, well, not one of the only reasons, but one of the main reasons to use to use her as a slave or colonist would be to fight fires, because that's not something that Wendy can do as a firephobe. So, if we change it so that Double D also can't fight fires, that makes Double D even further useless, at least in my eyes, and maybe in yours too. So Double D is going to get that bed, at least for now. T-Sang, you are going to be put into a bed back there. She can't fight fire anyway. True. Well, I mean, partially true. You can still give her a fire spray, foam spray gene, so that she can spray foam out of her mouth, or fire foam popper, so that she wears a fire suppression belt. Right? Even pyromaniacs can be forced to fight fires, but if they will flee uncontrollably from the sight of fire, then they're never able to fight fires. Because right now she does have a pop fire foam belt on her, so she's a pyromaniac, but I can run her into a fire and go poof, and the fire's out. So you guys want me to gene harvest and imprison. Okay, well, that solves that. That's the very Wendy thing to do. And you know, you don't exactly need clothing for that, so I'm not giving you any. I hope you're temperature tolerant. Oh, you're not. Okay, well, rip you. Should have thought about having crummy traits before you, 40% chance. Okay, let's do something better than that. Okay, well, if that's the case, that means that I need to cook up another pacified plus, so that Double D does not try to mess with me. This has a metabolic efficiency of +5. The thing is, Double D doesn't have a metabolic efficiency of 0. Has a metabolic efficiency of -4. So if I can get it up to +9, there is a benefit. So let's see if I can't do pacified plus. Although, never mind, because I could do poor social as well. Made tranquil. You're going to be a different type of xenotype. So the issue for that is that kicks my complexity up to 7 out of 6, and I'm not going to bother waiting for me to research the necessary research to add additional complexity, which would be the gene processing. So I'm just going to do a regular old pacified plus. And then, while I cook that up, I like how Double D, it says, look at this, it says baseliner. It's like, squeeze me? I don't think this is baseliner, but whatever you want to call it, fine. So Mass, go extract genes out of your sibling. Nope. Try to get in the bed. What is your temperature tolerance? You have a temperature tolerance of 61 Fahrenheit. If you lose fingers and toes to frostbite, it's your fault, not mine. So there is the Pacify Plus. It's getting cooked up now. And thanks for voting, I suppose. Okay, I can hear the bugs spawning. Sadly, it is just a Mega Scarab, which is not going to be an effective bug for murdering my enemies. In fact, given the additional insect jelly, well, I don't want the hive getting destroyed due to lack of maintenance, so maybe I'll leave the Scarab alive for now, because it serves a purpose for me. And, let's see. My tunneler. Orange Chaos. You are going to be behind the walls, sit to work. I want a shortcut for my lifters to be able to get here. Alright, second bug was more useful, and the hive has spread. Nice. Nope, that's Burrito. Oh, right, there. She's in the gene extractor. I can't do that at the moment. All right. So, guarding Massacre, let's see. We have 5 days and 57 enemies. No, sorry. 114 enemies coming in the next 5 days. So it's going to be spicy, going to be busy. These doors, I don't want to set this up. Maybe a forced open slate door in the front. And a steel door not forced open in the back. So I'm going to have Wendy get that built, because, you know, that's urgent. Don't offer the enemies a way in. That also means that it wouldn't necessarily be a terrible idea, especially given that enemies are incoming, to do a bit of repair and maintenance on the perimeter walls, because they are crumbling and damaged and haven't been loved in a... Well, okay, Wendy loves nothing, but haven't been maintained in a while. Kish, you lazy lout, get to work. And then as the steel gets hauled in, we will continue with additional bases so that we have farming capacity. One of the things I want to get done is to be able to start having a regular supply of tea and beer for morale purposes. Wendy's pretty easy to keep happy because all I need to do is murder folks. But it wouldn't be a terrible idea for others to be given the opportunity to consume drugs for morale. Okay. Looking good. So there we have the alternative tunnel. That will be a bit of a shortcut for the lifters to get access to the steel, because there's still 1,300 steel down there. And it is August 5th. You were right about that. It is... Ooh, T-Sang, I forgot to give you this bed. It is the warmest it's ever going to get. I say that because it would be high time to call in allies. Or trade. So, Wendy... That was weird. The party finished right as she touched the comms console, and it canceled the whole trade thing. Imperial Trader, please. What was this? Oh, this shelf was chem fuel, I think? I think I had intended for this to be chem fuel. I had not set it up, though, ahead of time. But I obviously don't want chem fuel and shells to be in my main stock room. So, I'm guessing that's the case. No acceptable food for Mastica. Alright, thanks for the warning. And we are almost out of food for ourselves. I almost feel like Randy is just withholding the raids because he knows I'm hungry. And also that it will do more damage when they all come at the same time. Oh yeah, that's a... I mean, there's no mega spiders in there, but that's a decent-ish spider force. Aquatine spider force. How do I feed myself? Just cope with no human meat for a day or two? No, actually, I'm just gonna cope without human meat. I think popping an Ancient Danger open right now just invites Randy to send me a raid in the middle of an Ancient Danger, and that sounds awful. And also sounds illogical. Alright, Double D. Prepare to be pacified. Is there a reason why I changed the orientation? No. I guess because it doesn't matter? No, I'm not trying to sass you, it's just... You know, the meta is that a farm can fit, you know, a certain amount of benches no matter what the orientation. So there's a bunch of different ways to lay it out. I guess I would say it's because I'm building from here. What I usually like to do is build from the back forward, so you don't have to climb over the benches as you're constructing. So I could have just laid it out like this instead and built from the back forward, but I don't know, I just threw them down like that. Oh, they're really spreading. Worry with this hive, though, is that they're a little closer to my lifters than I feel comfortable with. I don't think it's going to be a problem. But then it also could just become a different kind of problem where the two impid raids that are coming could end up being breach or sap raids that don't interact with the bugs at all. So then I just have a bug problem and an impid problem, which, given my luck, is entirely likely. Well, we'll see. We will see. I wish there was a way to separate out the bugs so you could clear some of it and not all of it. But that's not how infestations work, for obvious reasons. So Wendy, I did mention that I wanted to do some maintenance on the walls. Let's get you to start doing building. Oh, T's saying... Yep. So now that they're spreading, I'm going to need to make a new zone. Going to do an avoid zone. And I'm going to have... my own colonists, because the forbidden doors aren't enough now that they're south of the door. I have my people avoid this area. In fact, that button doesn't work. Never mind. I was going to drag it higher, but apparently that feature is broken. So she is... I'm going to... Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to forbid it and not cancel it. I was going to stop building the farm briefly just so that I could do maintenance on the perimeter, which I'm still set to do. Because I think... No, deconstructing steel barriers, that doesn't matter to me right now. Okay. It has occurred to me that I'm just gonna stop fighting Wendy and make a new zone. Wendy, you're allowed here. I want to maintain the walls, and she keeps trying to go to deconstruct zones that I don't want to necessarily cancel, because I do want to get around to that at some point. But Wendy is going to now repair slate walls. Perfect. And then Kish should probably be on the same zone as well as Wendy, because it's also a repair bot. And then the others, because they're not constructors, are free to go about whatever they want to go about. Make chem fuel from insect meat. How much slag is there on the map to smelt? Oh, Lord. because most of the enemies decide to pod drop raid me, 100, and also mech clusters create a lot of slag as well. Somewhere in the order of maybe 250, because I probably haven't clicked it all. Maybe it is 197. I'm not sure, but a lot. Reproduces 3 days, 2 days, 4 days, 3 days, 2 days. Okay, so they're not going to reproduce for a bit. I might have to call the bugs though, if these raids don't show up sooner. There we go. That's the wall repairs I wanted. Hey, I can freely use transport shuttle. So in terms of aids, trooper and transport are off cooldown. Air drone strike is on a 5-day. And this quest is only for 4 days left, so it's not going to come into play. I still, because you guys were merciful, have the beam targeter, which is kind of an ace in the sleeve. For the reference, there was a psychic ship here, and I totally had forgotten that beam targeters do nothing to mechanoids. So I tried to beam the scythers, and, well, it did literally nothing. And I also felt dumb. No, it did something. It hurt my ego, pride, self-esteem. I don't know, some word like that Wendy barely feels ever. The range of her human emotions are limited. And she thinks that's a good thing. At some point, I'll probably never get around to actually doing these bills, but I am optimistic about those bills' neglects. Yeah, you wanna see the new mod that doesn't make sploot noises? Well, okay, I guess I haven't silenced it quite enough. So the way it works, just to show off the mod, is individual sound volume. You can find the sound effect that you don't want to hear, like paint, and go, hey, if we designate or interact paint, give me a 20% on that. A little bit of sound, but like, you know, not a lot. And then barely hear it. Just mwah. Chef's kiss. I've also closed the stone doors because the walls are more secure with the stone doors slammed shut. As the steel doors are eventually flammable. Takes a while, but it will happen. Ooh, look at Mass with all those hops. Oh, speaking of the hops, if we ran a whole big thing of hops... Yeah, I'll go back to rice for now. Just a little worried. So down here, we can also start to make tea. The only issue with the tea is I really don't want Wendy to do it. So Wendy has at least a 6 for cook skill. I think she's more like a 12 or 14. So any worker that is not skilled like Wendy can make tea. I just don't want to busy her with that. Looks like I am nearly out of meals. So I'm going to allow fine meals to be made out of the bear meat for now. So that we can at least eat fine meals, which are not going to have human meat in them, but at least it's a little bit of a mood boost. Knowing that we have 114 impids potentially coming to pay us a lovely visit. Where the heck are you getting ingredients? Oh, bear meat's over there. Okay. So this fine meal is going to be just any meat minus bug. So that Wendy doesn't have to run marathons to cook. DoorDash delivery is coming soon. You're absolutely right. But I'm not going to tip them. I know, stingy, right? Very stingy. The self-cast of Joy on Mastica cost 30. Yeah, that was rough. That high psychic drone, and I was like, oh, I'll just Words of Joy myself. And the Empire was like, everybody disliked that. Whatever. Whatever. You know, more music, less storm. Speaking of all the volume controls that we're offered. Man, these impids really are going to stack up all at once, aren't they? Just randy things. Soups is 5. And I could probably... Oh, Pong, you're too old. Well, we're eating humans tonight. Gonna take a few organs first. This is what I would call doing the Hannibal Lecter. Delectable Lecter. Oopsie. Hey, Wendy, don't eat that. There's something better on the menu. Nope. Well, okay. Guess I have to continue to stop you. And then Mastica. Guests can now eat appetizing fine meals. And I hope she leaves my my cannibal ones alone. Wendy, this... I don't know what Rosie's doing. She's recharging. I was going to say, this kitchen's looking a mite bit filth. So the reason I did that, if you were wondering, is you can't harvest eggs once someone passes, once someone becomes 50. So Placidia is 48, and then whatever that pigskin was named, prisoner number 1248, was 49, but I guess they had a birthday, so I'll have a birthday cake. Pigskin pate. Oh, here we go. Multiple angles attacking immediately, but not sappers or breachers. Mwah. Now, the one worry I'm going to have is I don't want to over-roast my impid. I have to be very careful about how much damage I do to them with the fire trap. Mechs. Behind the walls. And I'm going to just keep it paused for a second to make sure that the behind-the-wall zone is still correctly set so that there are no mistakes. Yes. The Wendy zone that I temporarily had is probably not of use anymore. And I'm going to guess a void zone's not going to be useful at the end of this because I can't imagine that the insects are going to exist at the end of this, so I'm going to make the prediction that the bug hives are wiped out. So mechs are forced behind my walls, and then behind my walls, one more thing. Don't go in there. Colonists. Additionally behind walls. make sure that they have a valid path. So this door is open. This door is open. They have a valid path to my mechs. I think it wouldn't be a terrible idea for me to prop this door open too, just in case the mechs move or whatever. So Mastica, you never, ever, ever work. I'm going to make you work for a second. Can we counter-predict? Sure. I guess, if you want to do that. Will any hive will survive? It's going to be hives, not bugs, because bugs that are knocked unconscious, it's a little weird. Well, actually, how about, will any hive or bug survive? Keep in mind that that might mean that I have to, you know, if the bugs come messing with me, I'll have to mess with them back. Because I'm not going to not kill them if they get in my way. I only allow their existence because it's convenient to me. I draft you for 14 seconds. And how do you repay me? With fussiness? God. I mean, a typical 17-year-old, I guess, with a royal title. Unless your first name is, Diana. Although, I guess she was never royal until she married. Never mind. That's confusing. So, as far as weapons go, they're tribal. So, it's flame bows and pillas and iklas and that kind of garbage. Some great bows, but not too many. Okay, bugs. You're up. I thought there were more of them. There's 2 megas. Oh, yeah. So if you're wondering about the bugs, 2 mega spiders, 7 spellopedes, and a handful of mega scarabs. But also, one of the caveats is any hive survives as well. Good luck in your predictions. And now I feel like the music is a bit too loud. There we go. One thing that I might want to consider in the future is to maybe put some IEDs here. Because one of the advantages of IEDs is it's not likely to burn my food too much. But this is a bottleneck that doesn't have walls near it. So I don't really care if, like, some of the mountain blows up. Food for thought for later. Because anyone that isn't a sapper or breacher comes through here. And I've also made the decision that I don't think I'm going to need to set the fire trap myself. These impids are going to... Well, it hurts itself in its confusion. And then I'll force it to put the lotion on its skin. Or it gets the gene rip again. I wonder when the Glitterworld caravan is going to show up, because, you know... They might... Yo, yeah, see? It hurts itself in its confusion. Unfortunately, I don't have this cavern enclosed, which I guess for impids would matter, because if this was enclosed, it would start to superheat. But the bugs that are on fire are carrying that fire up my... Oh, really? Oh, come on. Really? Really? I'm pissed because the impid set the bugs on fire and the bugs are blaming me. So I'm going to... Wally, you are going to be a sacrificial lamb, friend. I'm going to pull my mechs out of here, forbid the doors, and so that the bugs kill Wally and then go back to messing with the impids. So I'm going to have to make a new zone. I'm not going to name it because I'm not going to keep it very long. And combat mechs go to right behind this door. There. Now, no one can get in there. Well, okay, that's a bad test. Yeah, no one can get in there, no path. And... I picked Wally because if we do want to regestate Wally, it's a Minotaur, it will take an afternoon. Those that that predicted against me, you should be really nervous right now. Alright, so now there should be no valid targets for these bugs to fight other than the impids. So if my calculations are not incorrect, these bugs will attack my turrets. Cool. I almost feel like just summoning a Diabolus and being like, well, you know, stuff's on fire, yo. You know what? I'm gonna do that. Bring on the Diabolus. Who repairs? No one. It's like Wendy or no one. Okay, Mass, I'm gonna wake you up. And T-Sing, I'm gonna wake you up. Because I now have these dumb bugs. Some of them got the message and are like, oh, there's no targets around here. I am gonna go fight the impids that have just lit my hives on fire. But other bugs are munching my turrets. No, it's a valid target. It's just, what ends up happening is they'll immediately, as you can see, they'll target something local and then get bored and target impids. So this room now has some unroofed sections. I didn't realize that was the case. Oh yeah, that's my fault. I should have built a roof here. I didn't notice that. But it is 350 Celsius. Definitely did not need to light the maze on fire myself. So the hope here is that that these bugs basically piss off. All I really need is a traffic jam here, and these raids are gonna immolate. Okay, I don't want you taking out my turrets, so let's put some skin in the game. Mechs, back to the fight zone, because Wendy's out of range. Oh god, that turret here is doing not good. And then Wendy, I was gonna have you summon the Diabolus, so let's continue doing that. Okay, T-Sane caught friendly fire, but he's a slave, so, you know, acceptable. If you're wondering about the hives, yeah, I mean, they're doing about as well as you'd think they'd be doing, as predicted. I don't think this Diabolus is going to be able to arrive in time to join in on all the celebratory revelry, so I'm just having Wendy come back here. And then I'm going to have Curiosity come back here as well. And for the behind the wall zone, forbid it so that my worker bots don't come blowing themselves up for no reason. Okay, 2 are fleeing. Oh god, there's going to be so much meat. Yes, we eat. Let's see. Tox pack, Curiosity, you go get the, what is it called? Fire foam pack. And T-Sang has one as well. Orange Chaos, step up. And Scythers, now that Wendy's in range, go be scything, or whatever Scythers do. Cool. So the ones that are fleeing are attacking doors. I definitely don't need turrets on to waste the steel, because steel is a kind of a precious resource. Kish, if you could... Yet another zone. Repair this door. That would be awesome. Oh, or not. Okay, I guess not. Whatever. This area is still... No, this area isn't superheated. It's everything left of here that's superheated. So the idea is to have Curiosity and T-Sang go in there and pop some fire foam to limit the amount of corpses that that become inedible. And Wendy is going to come down here and make sure that this door doesn't fail. I probably should have walled it up, but oh well. Oh! And the second raid is here with Breach. So Wendy, I lied. You're going to go laser them. Maybe. Should I use the laser? I might be able to manage them with lances and mechs and troopers. I'm gonna try that. Lasers are last resort. So this is both these raids, I believe, are... Okay, all of the fire maze incoming are fleeing. But yeah, I was gonna say both of these are related to the quest. I don't want to click on here because I find it helpful to have the note here so that you can track where they are, because I don't have numbers mod installed. So if I clicked it, it would confirm whether it's quest related or not. But I'm going to leave the bill up so I can mouse over it instead. So if I have an idea. The breachers are definitely coming in this way. So I will also install... let me actually do this better. I will install turrets to be able to aid me. And if these get broken, whatever. I have so much plasteel, I'll start making plasteel turrets instead. I'm trying to space them out so they can't chain react. Oh, so spicy. And then, let's see. I'll have to move my mechs into position. And I'm going to want to sacrifice the trooper squad. So I'm going to want to call in the trooper squad beforehand. In fact... oh, they don't attack Inalor. Wait. Oh, yeah, but this isn't Inalor. So call them in. Wendy, go talk to them. I don't think I'm going to need to call in allies, so never mind that. And then Mex. Yet one more temporary zone. I know, I'm a big fan of that. My mechs go to Area 3. Because the people that are coming in here are going to be... I don't know. They'll flee or whatever. I don't really care what they do. Got other things going on. So Curiosity, you're going to be hauling turrets. And then Mastica has to survive, sadly. I'd love to just be able to shoot her in the head now that I've fought both raids, but don't want to fail the quest. So here's my friendly troopers that I called in. Yep. Does Mastica have royal abilities that are useful? Pain Block and Word of Joy. So, yes, but no. And unfortunately, Wendy has not had time to Psi-Focus gain. So, so she won't really be able to skip much. Her Hemogen's okay right now, but not great either. So this door is obviously going to fail, but fortunately I put this door on the right side of the opened one, so the heated area is still going to remain heated, which is useful to keep these guys knocked out. And then as far as the prediction goes, there is still a Spellipede technically alive, so I'm not going to call it just yet, but there is no hives left. So if this Spellipede somehow survives without burning to death, technically one of them survived, but we'll see. I'm guessing that won't happen. predicting. That would be my prediction. It was always my prediction, though. Thank you for tuning in to the first Wendigo, which originally streamed live on Twitch December 15th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com also has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credit. I'll catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Wendigos,